You don't want to see urban culture in the church. Why? Because you've been studying those rules and traditions ever since birth. You don't want to see urban culture within the congregation. Why? Because those standards and stipulations that become Jesus' replacement. You don't want to see urban culture within the worship. Why? Because even though it's been raw about Jesus, it's still rap music, so it must be worthless. You don't want to see urban culture within Christianity. Because if they be wearing hoodies and snapbacks, must be spitting vanity, living in humanity, spitting that insanity, must not be living radically street mentality. Like, yeah, I might look a little different, but I still love Jesus. Yeah, I might look a little different, but I still believe he came out as a fetus. Might look a little different, but if this were a paragraph, he'd still be my thesis. Might look a little different, but I still believe in Emmanuel, which means God is with us. One of the reasons why people might not like the manifestation of the urban culture within the Western world is because of the clothes. Because supposedly, if you're wearing a bro tank, you're partying on Saturday night with those boozies and bimbos. Like, nah, Chandler, you got it all wrong. I just don't want you to overexpose. Or say you want to take away my freedom of expression. Like the Muslim husbands who make their wives cover their nose. So this is my question for you. Are some clothes holy and other clothes trash? Or is it just that you're too afraid to move on, so you're living in the past? The second reason why someone might not like the urban culture is because of the music. Like, man, you see those rap guys, they're so abusive, being reckless and foolish. But God can use rap music to inspire people to follow him. Yes, he can use it. We can make a rap song and drop it hot on the street, talking about how Jesus doesn't lose, how he has on the feet. Because God can do anything. The impossible can happen. God can do anything once he takes action. Like, yeah, you just have to proclaim that Jesus is the Lord and the Savior and put it in the song's lyrics. Because even people in the ghetto can understand and hear it. And the last reason why people might not like the manifestation, the forward movement, and the USA teams of the urban culture is the influence. Like, Chandler, you see him every day. You know the students. You know they're running around all dumb and stupid. Bro, they're not even in class. They're truant. But have you ever tried to get down on their level? Have you ever tried to get down on their zone? Like, they probably don't feel comfortable. That's why they're running away from home. Have you ever tried to ask them a question and honestly try to hear them out? Because then you can probably have a conversation and not just an argument when you scream and shout. People from the streets have pretty deep, meaningful thoughts. And probably some pretty good stories about those clips and gunshots. But don't judge people far from God for being far from God. Because they're not pure, they're not purified, they're not perfect. They're speckled with spots. So here's my final declaration. Here's my final proclamation. For this subject, this is my last exclamation. God wants to use you to show someone salvation. I mean, people on the street are still human. They're not mutation. They're still sinners. They fall into temptation. They just don't want to conform to tradition because they've seen the forward demonstration. So honestly, ask them questions and try to hear them out. Listen to them. Get their translation. Humble yourself down to their level. Just because you're a Christian doesn't mean you can build yourself up in the elevation. Because all I want to see is the multiply of God's children. You know what we call that? We call that followers of Christ, children of God, duplication.